In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Algria Munson here with the Expats Portugal show. Tudo bem? How are you today? Do let me know. The Ducks are in a row. Look at that. 5 of them today. I don't know if that's a rating. And we are still looking at Likegate yesterday. And T-Duck very rightly, I think, said, I didn't like this show because I can't like it in advance. I haven't seen it yet to like it. So an interesting point made yesterday. When called out by this other gentleman and Deagle. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpus from a beautiful morning in Belfast. Yesterday was better. Went to 17 whole degrees. Great few days ahead, weather-wise and mid-teens. So don't put those shorts away into the mothballs just yet. God Squad tip of the day to come this morning. And a slightly remixed show, I have to say, because we didn't manage to talk to Ozzy, of course, in Italy last week. And we weren't able to speak to a few of our guests. And we rejig things so that is possible. We're talking to Nuno from Winsurance in a few minutes' time, who's going to be talking about insurance for families and legal cover for cars as well as part of your car insurance. So great to be talking to Nuno this morning. You know him. Look, I've got a nice picture of Nuno here when he was last in San Martino de Porto. There he is in his scouting gear. I get snapped with a lot of celebrities, you know. I think earlier in the day or the day after, I snapped with this gentleman. Wherever I go, celebrities are there, and I like to get a selfie with them. I've got a few more of those. Have you got any of those? To send to 00351 913 590 303. Who else is in then before we bring Nuno on to talk about, your insurance questions as well. And if you've got any shipping questions, another person we didn't manage to speak to last week was Luis Duarte from Global International Relocation, GIR. He joins us at 9:30 this morning, so get those shipping questions ready as well. And also be prepared to be cheered up. To turn your cheerometer up to 11. He's such a cheerful fellow, not unlike Nuno. Some great Portuguese guests this morning who will put a smile on your face as well as answer those technical questions about insurance and shipping this morning. Victoria's here. Francis is in from South Africa. And says, hi, Carl. When you have a spare afternoon, I can tell you about my time with Brian. You could not make it up. That sounds like there's a kiss and tell that used to be in the news of the world. But he's not. He's talking about not Brian Clough, not Brian May, but Brian, his brother. That sounds like some fun. Hopefully, Brian's not watching from the UK. Sounds like he might have gone home now. Francis then in South Africa. Bon dia, Algria todos. Pardon the absence lately. Been working 11 and a half hours a day with no... Oh, sorry. You've had 11 and a half hours a day with no electricity in South Africa. Hope all are good. Going to be... Well, that's one way of not paying high energy bills, is not to have any energy in the first place. And I did have a thought as well when I was out walking the dogs. Is it going to be more difficult for people to gaslight each other with the rising costs of gas in the coming times? But going to be lurking and working, making hay while the sun shines. And, while the electricity's on by the sound of it. What's going on over there in South Africa? Nom de plume. Carlinhos. Thank you. I was overly hurt yesterday, wasn't I? When I thought I didn't have a little pet name from you, Nom de plume. Stephen Wells is in with author quote of the day. Thank you very much. You see, we love our quotes here. We'll come back to that, Stephen. Thank you very much indeed. Of course, Techno Slug, who likes his boots and pants, is here as well this morning. Great thoughts from the Redwoods on managing one's ego. It seems like a time when we need that, doesn't it? with so much crazy stuff going on in the world. Well, not us so much, it's the others, isn't it? Bon dia alegria Gumpus from Cindy. Hey, morning, Cindy. And Jean is in as well this morning. And we've got the little crop, a dusting, a guffawing of dad, or it's more of a quiet incredulity of dad jokes, an incredulity of dad jokes, or a forehead slap of dad jokes. Portuguese saying of the day. Actually, I'll treat Nuno to that when he joins us in just a moment. And deep thoughts as well from T-Duck. So thank you, everybody. Ian as well. Morning Deagle, says Ian. I think I'm going to be in Portugal at the same time as you. Where are you staying? I think you both love a little bit of the Algarve, so you two might meet up down there and do God Squad type of things, growing old disgracefully together in the Algarve. Okay, so let's bring him on. He's waited long enough. Nuno from Winsurance. How are you today, my friend?
Hello, good morning. finally with you and everyone.
It's great. That reminded me of the joke. A bear walks into the pub and says, "Pint of beer, please." And the bartender says, "What's with the big paws?" Anyway,
Sorry,
let's.
I didn't catch.
No, it's okay.
I assume.
It's fair enough.
Maybe a little bit short, but maybe because it's the morning.
Yes, it could be.
Morning.
How many coffees? I'm only halfway through my cup of tea, so I don't think I'm firing on all cylinders.
I'm not a guy that needs coffee to wake up.
Okay, what do you need to wake up, if you don't mind me asking?
Just wake up.
Work.
And I'm 100%.
I think you feast on insurance questions first thing in the morning, and that's what you're here to do with us this morning, Nuno. Great to see you the other day. I've got a Portuguese saying of the day for you, so you can verify this as a Portuguese member of our community. Portuguese saying of the day then is "Não se atiram pedras senão as árvores que têm fruto." Stones are not thrown at trees that bear fruit. Do you know this one?
Never heard. First time. Thank you, Standard.
No, does it make sense? I wonder.
I'm learning with you. Portuguese says.
Excellent. Good. Okay, so this must mean that I suppose you don't mess with people who are busy, or if you're productive, people will leave you alone. It might be a sort of Portuguese work ethic saying, I wonder. And no better person to share that with than you, the hardest working man in insurance, I would say. And not only that, you're working hard in the insurance business, and then you're making time to nurture and guide the young as well. And there you were. How did it go? How was the camp in San Martino de Porto a couple of weeks ago, Nuno?
So it's always a challenge being with almost 20 kids, young kids. So their ages are between 7 and 10 years old. So they are younger. There are some situations that we never think about, like they stay for 7 days without seeing TV, or without touching a mobile phone, or without playing whatever, PlayStation. So we need to schedule a fully program that they like and they can learn. Yeah. So it's always a challenge, but I like a lot.
Well, yeah, I know, I could tell. I mean, you and your colleagues seemed very relaxed when we met you, so obviously things were working out. So, I mean, it is the Scout motto, isn't it, to be prepared? So obviously that's what you're talking about. You've got to make sure everything is in place and that kids have always got something to do if necessary.
Yes, because we involve them on the schedule, on the program, the activities, on the meals also. They give ideas about what we can prepare. Then yes, we have the final word, and we are the one who need to mix all the ingredients. But they are part of the process, and also during in the kitchen, calling like a kitchen. In the kitchen, they have time so they intervene. They also prepare the food for all the others. So we have the cooks, and well, they are helping us. But the truth is that is a way of we can teach them.
Yeah, amazing. And they had a good time, did they?
Yes, 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 yes. A very good time. Very good time.
Well done, mate. That must have been. You must have been glad to get back to work in some ways. It's a little bit easier dealing with adults, isn't it? Or is it not?
About my work,
Yeah,
combining.
I was just wondering if it is easier to
No,
deal with adults than it is kids.
well,
Oh,
well, it's easy, but because I have a lot of work, I took a beach chair, one of those, and
oh
I
yeah.
put the chair in my tent. So when they go to sleep and before they wake up, I'm working.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
What a man you are. What an inspiration. Incredible. Wow. Well done. When's the next one? Or do you not want to?
I don't know because I need a pause. So I took like 1 or 2 years. I'm available, fully available to support the others, but I just don't have the time to have meetings, weekly meetings
Yeah.
with adults preparing the activities, and then weekly meetings with the youngers. So I'm fully available to support and to help, but I just can't.
A lot going on, which brings us into the world of
Yeah.
insurance. A busy time then. I think one of the things about Winsurance, it's also winnovation, if you don't mind me saying that. You're constantly thinking of ways to make your company and how people, I think also to change the perception of insurance for people. So you're in a winnovation phase again now, aren't you? What's going on? Is it very busy at the moment? Lots of business and thinking up lots of new ways to make insurance easier for people to engage with.
Yes, that is a challenge. Talking about insurance on a easy way, put it simple to the
Mm.
people. I assume that we don't sell insurance at all. This is not just for talking. This is the truth. We don't sell insurance. We like to provide a service and help people.
Yeah.
Yes, the insurance is the way of we do that, but it's mainly a service, and stay prepared to the others to
Yeah.
help others.
Yeah.
Um, uh, because when we start working with the expat community, we are focused on the health insurance. It's obvious one.
Yeah.
In Portugal, there are no solution for the travel. So for the first stay of getting the visa.
Yes.
So we search and do a lot of contacts, and finally we find a Portuguese provider that tailor-made insurance for that. Now we are developing. Well, it's finished, truly finished. An insurance for legal purposes, because being in a country with a different language and different laws, could be a nightmare. Even
Absolutely.
though, because some people have lawyers that support them, but we develop with an insurer that the only thing that they do, their core business, is legal defense. So we tailor-made a product for families, covering the most varied situation that could affect a household, and also legal defense for uh, car car accidents,
That's
for
useful.
example.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because many times we are in a situation which the insurers aren't allowed to say who is the guilty one, and someone stays with on a bad situation. Okay, this is one part. The other part is no one defend people against a faulty car repair. When I say no one, I'm talking about the auto insurance, the car
Yeah.
insurance. Also, when we buy a car, a brand new car, and even though the car has warranties, Sometimes we are on a gray zone and we need someone to defend ourselves
Mhm.
to our rights and execute the car warranty. So this mix insurance about legal defense, it's all of these. And also, also it protects against fines.
No.
Yes, yes, yes.
How do you do
Because
that?
yeah, sometimes, well, they just put a fine and it's over. Um, for example, my brother-in-law, he has a problem on the
His
I don't
wrist.
remember this
His
part.
wrist. The wrist.
And he used a ribbon piece
Oh,
here,
okay. Yeah, like a
that one.
support. Yeah.
And on the highway that connects Lisbon to Cascais, the police just stop him and say that he is talking on the phone. And he is not talking. He is not with the phone in the hand. And he explained, and the police just say to him, "Look, we are two and you are one."
Really?
So yes, yes, and he was fined.
Yeah.
So through this insurance, he could be defending
Okay.
and do something. So it's
All right.
for
It's
situation.
a fighting situation. Okay, but it's not for any fine. You don't get your money back, even if you did make if you were in if you were
No,
broke.
no, it's for situations that are in
Yes.
gray zone. So it's for those
Very
which it
good.
help. It help. So
Okay, so let
once
me get this clear.
again,
Can I get this clear? This is a legal cover, a legal insurance. Basically, it's not a
yes,
car.
yes,
It's not a car insurance,
no,
but
no, no, no.
it's a family product that protects the whole family against grey area legal issues. And when you find yourself in difficulty, you get legal cover from this insurance policy.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes, yes. Could be, for example, some every year. I believe that every year we heard that a dog hits or bites someone on the street in
yes,
Portugal,
yes,
and this insurer they had an example of almost 21,000 euros of medical expense due to an attack to a child of 6 years old, and they defend this family and they execute the defense and got this amount to the family to
yeah.
pay the medical expenses.
Uh-huh. Well, that's great news. Excellent. Okay, and the people can get this policy from you now.
Yes,
Great.
right.
Okay. So winsurance.pt is the place to go, and I'll make sure we put up the business. I mean, a lot of people here are your customers anyway, by the sound of it. And if they're not your customers yet, they will be. This is a man in South Africa who knows you. I mean, this is extraordinary, isn't it? No, from Francis in South Africa. The slug loves you. You're loved by a slug as well. This
Hi, James.
and who also says, I'd say the ride is pretty crazy, but it's great kind of crazy. I would agree with that. Also, look at this. Essa nono é muito fofo. What does that mean? You're a darling. Very sweet and darling.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
I
you,
don't know who is.
you can't tell from the picture, can you? But I think next thing she's going to be calling you Nunito, I think, possibly as well. Get steady on them, Fofinho. This is for later on, Belinda. Sorry, it's later on in the show, but from 9:30 we'll be talking to Luis. And does the embassy? Yes, it does. I can answer that probably, but then sometimes not. I think we've lost the end of your question there, Belinda. But stay tuned for Luis at 9:30. No, the legend. So what's going on here? This Pete knows a little bit about the backstory here. So was the food good at the conference? It was a little hot for wearing a suit on Saturday. How is the house? Lots of personal questions there. You don't have to answer.
Yeah, I miss, unfortunately, I miss the men's cave dinner because I had a conference on Saturday that
Yes.
started noon and ends at 1 a.m. Well, it keeps, but at 1 a.m. I say I'm finished.
Look at this lot.
So with
These are the gentlemen. I use the term very loosely. These are the gentlemen you're talking about. Who you,
yes, yes, yes. So sorry for having missed
they look
the dinner.
terrifying. Yeah, okay,
The
so fair
dinner.
enough. So you'll probably be at the next one then, by the sound of it. You had work to do, a
I have
conference, and how is the house going? Do you care to comment on that?
the house. What house?
It's what Pete's asking. How is the house going?
Ah, okay, okay. Maybe the construction. Well, it goes. It goes.
Go.
Hardly, hardly it goes, but I expect that this time they finished on the promised time.
Oh, very good. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed for that. Okay, and
Yeah.
Stephen also here. And thank you for your comments yesterday, Stephen, that I didn't get to. Thanks for being here again this morning. Nuno, you take away the TV, the PlayStation, etc., and give them knives and axes. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, a lot of parents would be like, okay, just give them the TV and the PlayStation, right? But so they do. They were involved in some well supervised and potentially perilous events. But kids love that sort of stuff, don't they? Well done, you.
Yes, yes, because in the beginning of the year, it's so funny how to see how they react for the first time that we give a knife to them.
Yes.
Even for cooking, because usually they say, no, no, my
Yes.
parents, they don't allow me to touch in the knife on a knife. So
My own son was like that when he got to a certain age. Maybe he was 8 or something. I said, maybe it's time for you to have your own knife. And he said to me, I don't think I'm old enough yet. And that was really weird. I was thinking, well, I'm sure he'd want a knife. I did when I was younger, but he's much more sensible than me, clearly. Hola, bon dia. It is good to see you this morning. Great to see you as well, Buddy, and a hi, Buddy, from T-Duck as well. And look at this. Prosecco Peggy is in the house. Look at that. Peggy, absolutely right, Pete. Peggy, long time no see. To the bay. Lots of people are very happy to see you here, including Victoria as well. As I was scrolling down, yeah, hiya, Peggy. Long time no see. You've been missed, Peggy. Prosecco, Peggy. Give us a little bit of a catch up, a chat. What you been up to, and how are you doing? And I think she wants to know what sort of insurance are we talking about here. I mean, pretty much. Your suite of products is very comprehensive, to use an insurance term. Is there aren't many things you don't insure. It's probably easy to say that, isn't it? The things you don't insure rather than the things you do insure.
yes, actually, maybe from 2015 or so, the insurers they must inform what they cover and also what they don't cover. It's like it's a document, usually with two or three sheets saying this.
Yeah,
It's a short version of the full terms that no one's read.
Yes, indeed. I mean, of all that your customers that you've ever dealt with, or maybe not your customers, but in the world of insurance, it's the same with the terms and conditions when you buy something online, and you click the box, don't you, to say I have read and understood the terms, and it's the same with insurance, isn't it? Sign this to indicate that you understand the terms and. I mean, how many of 100 people? How many people can genuinely say they have read and understood the terms and conditions? Would you think?
1 or 2%, because there are people that read and
Yes.
and did the questions, but the other don't.
They are,
We
yes. It's the same
that,
percentage as the people who run the world as well, isn't it? Interestingly. So if you want to run the world, maybe you need to be one of those people who understands the terms and conditions of an insurance policy, or pay someone else to do it. Go on, Ninu, sorry.
the same with the banks. So
Yes.
they just show us to sign and we sign
But
because
it's a massive scam, not a scam, but it's a huge hypocrisy, isn't it? It
yes,
says there, sign this to show that you've understood. And as you say, 1 or 2% or less actually are signing something they understand. It doesn't make any sense for us, like an authentic and genuine society, when people are doing that all day long.
yes, that's true. That's true. And then we complain about
Yes,
what
when it goes wrong.
we
Yeah,
signed.
yeah.
Okay,
You
but
can't complain. If you sign it, you can't complain. Can you?
that's the reason of why we usually don't use the insurance quote, because they don't tell everything.
Yeah.
For example, and you know that about health insurance, almost all insurers, there are one exception, that have exclusions, disease excluded, all of them.
Yeah.
And this is not mentioned on any quote. So that's why we use our templates, trying to tell to clarify what is covered, what is not covered. So we want that people do buy knowing what they are buying, what they
Yes.
are paying for, what
Well,
is
and
the
that's the beautiful
value.
thing. Yeah, I mean that's the beautiful thing about working with you is you can actually speak to somebody and talk it through. So you can actually understand what you're signing with insurance
Yeah.
if you've got a few hours to spare. Um, when Peggy was joining us and asking what kind of insurance are we talking, Abbott. I think that's a typo, but Pete has attempted a kind of dad joke here. I wouldn't trust an Abbott with insurance, maybe a Friar. But why go to the prayer route when you have Nuno to guide you? Yes, in the secular age, you don't have to rely on divine protection and intervention. You can go to insurance. And Andy's here as well. Bon dia, todos from the beautiful and fingers crossed, dry and roofless. Oh, so the roof is off there at his place, but it's wine harvesting season, as you can see there. The colheita, I think that's called, isn't it? The harvest. Excellent stuff. And I think you were at the Porto meetup yesterday. You did send me a photograph, Andy. I'm not sure if everybody in it is happy for them to be themselves to be immortalized on the internet. Let me know if that's not the case. But it looks like you had a fantastic time. Well done, the Stalakas, for organising that, and glad to hear everyone had a fantastic time there yesterday. Okay, Alfie, as in Alpha the dog there. I was wondering what was being talked about by Pete and Lord Gilchrist. Winsurance, there's a lovely testimonial, unsolicited for you this morning, Noonan. Definitely not a one-size-fits-all business. You're a custom outfitter, bespoke insurance. How about that? And the campus looks like The Walking Dead. People just milling around, not knowing what is going on. Are you back in England and teaching there? That is normal, isn't it, for a campus in September, for people to be walking about, not knowing what they're doing? I think that's quite normal at the beginning of an academic term, is it not? And that's just the teaching staff. A perfect analogy. What's this for the government? Putting Biden in the 14th row and making him wait at the funeral will surely have made the special relationship even better. 40. Well, he's quite capable, isn't he, of causing trouble, starting, shaking the Chinese tree, as he seems to have been doing. Old Uncle Joe Biden. Are you sure you want to be Lord Andrew? You may not be allowed within 10 kilometers. Oh, okay. Pete's going down that road this morning. That conference looked like a big party. Yes, can you confirm or deny that the conference you went to was actually a party, Nuno? They did some work.
Yes, it was. It was. We are 4,000 people,
Yes.
and in the end, after the dinner, they have a show with a very popular singer in Portugal, Pedro Abrunhosa.
Oh, really? So
It's
I thought it was going to be Toy
yes,
from. I thought you were talking about this guy. It's not
no,
him.
no, no, not that one, not that one. Pedro Abrunhosa, which is known by that he not sing, he talk
Oh,
rather
really?
than sing. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay. Okay. And is he good fun? Is he good to have at a conference? Does he tell a few jokes?
yes.
Yeah, good.
No, 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 not jokes, not jokes. He is a
Right.
singer, but
Okay.
it's a different style.
Okay. Like Lee
But
Marvin,
very good,
perhaps.
very
Yeah.
good, very good.
All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Excellent. Look at this. The lady who thought you were cute, nom de plume, is going to be. Should you be afraid? I wonder. I will have to seek out. Please approach via the website. Excellent stuff. It's hot in here. It is very, very humid today. I don't know what the weather's like in Lisbon. Is it stormy still? Is that we've got this yellow weather?
No, no, not storming, but I'm looking outside, and the sky is shining. The sun is shining, so
Another
there
lovely
are
day.
no clouds, almost no clouds, but it's hot.
Yeah,
Yesterday we reached in my car. I can see that 29 degrees, so almost 30. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
hot.
In the
Yes.
capital. Yeah, it's that kind of late summer thing that you get in Portugal, isn't it? Everyone's back at work, kids are back at school, people are back at work, the tourists have gone home, and then you have this lovely late summer. I was swimming in the sea 2 days ago. It was fantastic.
for me, the year never starts on the 1st of January. Always start in the middle of September with the schools and
Yeah.
all the new life, the new kids' schedules,
Yes,
school
indeed.
schedules, and so on. So
It has
usually,
begun. It has begun.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, everyone from Joao. Hello, Joao. Great to see you here this morning. And Rugby Colin is asking if he can mention shipping container storage insurance. Can he do that? What's he getting at there?
Yes, but I believe that it's a better option doing it through the company that is shipping the
Okay.
container.
All right. Thank you for
We
that.
can do.
You
Okay.
can do an extra policy if
Yeah,
people want to.
we
Okay.
can.
All right.
But I believe that it's a better solution goes through the provider of that service.
Okay, bon dia, Joao from Jean. Jean's been in from the beginning here. We do love fofo and fofinho. It's a lovely, lovely word, fofinho. I oh dear, I fell down and broke my leg. What? So entertaining myself with my friend Carl and all of you that I remember. Hello to all. Well, there are new friends to remember. If you didn't meet Prosecco Peggy, and obviously it's obvious how we know her with that nickname, Prosecco Peggy. She's always quick to get a bottle popping and having a sip on it, Prosecco. And I don't know if you converted at all to the Portuguese espumante. I certainly hope so, Peggy. But I think you're still doing the Prosecco industry proud and keeping them going. You get a Christmas card from the industry, I hope. But I'm so sorry to hear that. You fell down the stairs and you've broken your leg. So we've got you as a captive audience by the sound of it. So we might be seeing more of you in the mornings. Do introduce yourself. And if you don't know Prosecco Peggy, those of you Gumpers that are here, that joined after Prosecco Peggy was here in the early days, then please introduce yourself. Tell Peggy who you are and what should we do? Well, you can tell her what your favorite drink is, and you can maybe tell her what part of Portugal you're in as well, or if you're on your way here. And Prosecco Peggy will dish out wisdom of her own special kind as well. If you've got any questions for Prosecco Peggy while she's recuperating and healing that broken leg. I hope you've got a purring cat on it. I think a purring cat is quite good for broken bones. Also, they say, what's this? You know those gorgeous women who are medical sales reps. What? Okay. And I always use foof. Is that short for fofinho or fofo? Hola, bon dia, foof. Okay.
Maybe, but
Okay.
never heard
of a foof before.
no.
Hi, guys. Nuno,
Oh,
Carl, both always welcome to the sunshine in the Algarve. And we can visit Peggy while we're down there as well, can't we? Pop in with some flowers and some Prosecco. Peggy, so sorry this happened to you. Get well soon. Absolutely. All of our love to you this morning, Prosecco Peggy. Nuno did a fantastic job of summarizing the fine print conditions of the health insurance I purchased from him. So there you go. There is someone in the industry who could be bothered to do that. That's great to know. Pedro Martins, good morning. I do agree. So much small print on insurance and bank forms. There is, isn't there? And it seems to get smaller every year. There's more of it, and it goes to a smaller typeface as well. From Pete, Victoria, I hope you're loving the sun this morning. Ouch, Peggy. I hope you feel much better. I should have gone to visit. We were with the lovely Portuguese and his amazing wife at the Algarve. So next time, Stalika. Stalikas, they don't really mind. I have checked with them, but okay, let's go with Stalikas, who organised the Porto meetup. No, I'm working remotely. Okay, so he's still in the academic business there, but we're working remotely, which is probably no bad thing, it has to be said. Get well soon from Andy as well. And not to be confused with remotely working. Well, unless in Andrew's case, then definitely to be confused. The two there. Pedro Abroniosa. I don't know what that means. What would that mean,
it's the singer.
Oh, okay. Who you were talking about before, right?
Yes.
I think Pedro, namesake of the singer there, and a fan by the sound of it. Very good. Just having. Oh, look, someone's having breakfast. There, Joao's having some breakfast. That's quite the breakfast there. That's quite a lot going on.
Never having breakfast.
Excellent. And AFPOP is a name that comes up in the insurance industry, of course. Do you honour their discount? Is a question from John Lyons this morning.
I don't know what John wants to say with if I honor AFPOP discounts. I know.
It's. Oh, sorry. Go on. You do know.
I know AFPOP. I know that they have a good
So it's like
Not
a
business.
savings
No,
schemes. Yeah,
I missed the word in Portuguese.
a
That's the problem.
package. Is it a package? Package.
Yes, they have. It's not a word, but it serves packages. So I know that they have good agreements. That's the word that I'm searching. So never to. I don't nothing to say against AFPOP.
Yeah, but you don't work with them. It doesn't. I don't think it works
No,
like that.
no, 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 no,
You'd
no.
have to work with their own
No,
particular.
because in my case, I don't see value
Yeah.
on that.
Okay. All right, there,
So
John. There's your answer. All
I
right.
prefer.
Okay. And we are back to pool party temperatures. That's the official weather forecast from Fundao this morning. It's pool party temperature. Excellent stuff. And yes, Pedro up there with Rui Veloso as a Portuguese singing tradition by the sound of it. And Rebel Mama. What's going on this morning? We've got Prosecco Peggy back. We haven't seen you for a while, Rebel Mama. Look, and she's completely converted to Portuguese while she's been away. Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Estive a viajar a España y Estados Unidos. Oh, so you've been to Spain and back to the UK. Were you back there for the
No,
funeral proceedings?
USA.
Of course, sorry, I beg you, but not the United Kingdom, but the United States, of course. I'm so sorry, Rebel Mama, accusing you of going back for the funeral coverage there. Tudo bem? Areia Lisboa, e depois Algarve amanhã. So, Olá Vic, Tija. So you'll be going to see Victoria by the sound of it. You're getting about the place. That's great news. Well done, Rebel Mama. Thank you for being back here. Pete, I am hurt that you were. Oh dear. Some diplomacy to attend to here. If she wasn't hurt enough already, Pete, you've made it worse. Let's see what happens here. Often I'm the one under the spotlight here in the mornings, and so are you this morning, Nunu. But I think it's Pete now. We're switching the spotlight onto Pete to see what he's going to do in this situation. But he's dealt with it already. Look at this. As Arnie says, I'll be back. There you go. And he'll be bringing you some Fundao cherries or some Fundao red to help you get well soon there, Peggy. I'm going to look at the consumer news in the papers. Nunu, do you need to go and do some work now, or do you want to stick around with me for a little bit longer?
Yes, I can stay with you.
Okay, because there's some interesting stuff in the papers at the moment, in the Portugal Resident and the Portugal News. And before we do go there with some consumer news that I think you might be able to help us out with, is 50k in euros enough for health insurance on the capitalisation front? From another question from John. Thanks for being here this morning, John.
So usually it's enough. Usually it's enough. But if we are on a bad wave, which someone in life we are, and if we need the health insurance for 2 or 3 major situations, I'm sure that will be short.
Okay, all right. So in the best of times, it's sufficient, but
Yes.
when you're hit with bad luck, it sometimes is insufficient.
Yes. So for most of the situations, and if you are talking about one, usually is enough. Usually.
So there you go, John. Thanks for being here. Thanks for asking your questions this morning. Let's take a look then and see what consumer news we can find over there at the Portugal News this morning. We're taking a look at their front page, and we see bread prices are rising 18% in August in the EU. I don't think they're going to go as high as that in Portugal, though. No. There just seems to be a very good honouring of the Portuguese public so far in the cost of living crisis. The basics seem to be not rising too much. You can make sure you get a coffee and a pastry, a loaf of bread, for example, a beer and wine. Those prices don't seem to me to be rising too crazily. What's your view on that?
I don't know, but what I'm seeing is that restaurants are full, pastelerias are full in the morning. So the supermarkets are full.
Yes.
So people are buying, are consuming.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I strongly believe that when the interest rates rise, there will be when people start reducing consuming.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Then people are consuming like if there are no inflation, no war, no
Yes.
nothing.
I think people change their behavior when it hurts. In the same way that most people don't read terms and conditions, most people don't change their behavior until it hurts. And so they'll
Correct.
they'll tend to carry on living in their normal lifestyle until they can't, because of some sort of constriction, which is in some ways a very nice thing about human nature, I think. But it does seem to me, and I'd like to ask you about a theory that I've got here that I hope is true. That I think there is almost like an unwritten agreement between the government and the people that things like coffee shouldn't rise and beer and wine. That it's very important to the Portuguese people to have the basics that are affordable. So, and soup. You know, when you go to a restaurant, it looks like most people, and you know, obviously there are people in trouble and who can't afford things, but for most people, there is something you can afford at a cafe. You know, people aren't priced out of the cafes in the way that they are in other parts of the world. Is this a cultural thing? Do the government know that if they make the prices rise too much, there's going to be another revolution?
Look, this could be controversial,
Yes, yes,
but for me, government or politicians run the country with a miserable mindset.
nothing controversial so far. I think we'd all agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
So if they take care of the people with from a miserable approach, miserable politics, saying that they give something, and then they took that from another way. This is how the governments stay in the power. They act like that. They don't take care of the people. They take care of themselves, and because usually what the Portuguese government says is that, well, we are a small country. Yes, but we also were a small country on 15th century, and we did what no one else are doing, discovering the world. And this is because we had the luck of having people thinking bigger,
Yes.
not thinking of a miserable way. So
Do you know what? That is so interesting, and I don't think it's controversial. I think it's more naivety on my part, actually. And I would agree with you. And I don't think this is limited to politicians in this country. This is just generally how politicians seem to operate, getting us into all sorts of trouble at our expense, generally speaking, as you see all over the world. And possibly what's at work here with prices being kept down is the cafe owners themselves, the culture. The street culture is probably more responsible for that, isn't it, than anything the government might be doing for anybody. And for people, you know, so that there is soup that you can afford on the menu, so that you can eat, and so that coffee remains if you think about it, I mean, coffee is just almost like a basic human right. Coffee and Wi-Fi, you know, in Portugal, it's such a good thing to be able to go to the high street and enjoy. And you compare and contrast that to, you know, where I'm from. You can buy an espresso coffee here for, you know, around €1 and sometimes cheaper. Even in Lisbon, I think I saw when I was flying out to Italy, I was having a coffee in the morning. I think it was, you know, there was a sign saying coffee 75 centimos there, 85 possibly, and you can get a torrada in there, so you can definitely get breakfast for a couple of euros, and then you could come back at lunchtime and you could get a soup for €2 or €3 tops. I mean, maybe, you know, 2.50 for a soup. So you can, you know, that lifestyle, the cafe lifestyle, can still be will still go on and be enjoyed, I hope. But if you compare and contrast that to some other cultures where a coffee is sometimes £2, £3, £3.50, or if it's autumn and you're going to have a spiced Halloween paprika in there or whatever that people have, £4, and then you want a cake on top of that, and you want a pastel de nata imported or baked in an industrial estate in England somewhere, you're talking about £7 for a cake and a coffee. That's not going to work, is it? That's not going to work. So I love what's happening here and what has gone on here, and I hope it continues in this way here on Consumer Tuesday. I think it's okay to make that plea. And sorry for my naivete, as our American friends would say. It's nothing to do with the government. I think it's to do with a socialistic mindset of people wanting to look after each other and make life affordable and joyful, possibly not miserable, as you say, as the politicians would have it.
Look, this start and ends with the people.
Yeah.
Who are them? Where are they coming from? And as far as I know, and I assume that I don't follow much politics stuff. I just don't care. But I'm not seeing relevant people from the society going to the power. Who stays on the government are people that they never did whatever. They are professionals on talking, just that.
Yes.
They don't know how the business work, how the real life, what we struggling all day long, paying taxes, and they are just there.
Yes, yeah. It's the Peter principle, isn't it? No offense, Pete Bleach, but it's like they do say if you can't do, teach, don't they? Which is a bit unfair, I think, to teachers. But if you can't do anything at all, you could become a politician. All right, well, at least speak. You got to be able to speak, haven't you? And stir people up with a little bit of hype every now and then. Okay, interesting stuff. Other headlines then this morning. We've got obviously still focusing on the Queen Elizabeth and the Portuguese connection with the UK and Portugal. An excessive noise complaint hotline. That's a pretty good headline to be talking about on Consumer Tuesday. And the government measures to combat the cost of living. We won't go into that right now because of all that's just been said about the politicians, and more flights. But you can check these out for yourself, obviously, at portugalnews.com. And interestingly, more flights between Portugal and China. Why do you think that might be, Nuno? I mean, you work with the Chinese community, don't you?
Yes. Actually, we start working with foreigners.
Yeah.
With the Chinese.
Really?
Communities. Yes.
Yeah.
We start with them.
Presumably the flights then are because there's it's obviously there's money in them there flights from Portugal to China. There's Chinese people coming back and forth, and there is quite a strong trade connection, isn't there, between Portugal and China? Not least the incredible network of Chinese shops here.
I don't know if we Portugal have a straight connection with China. What I know is that, for example, US citizens and UK citizens are coming to Portugal mostly by its 60 years old, and buying a house or so with the D7 or the D2. But the major Chinese that already came to Portugal and are coming, they came through the golden visa, which don't require that they stay in Portugal for 6 months in a row or eight months.
Yes.
And they have business in Portugal. Mm-hmm. So I know that they travel a lot.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And when Portugal left Macau, China, we just left them a brand new airport in Macau. We never had an airport, but when we are saying goodbye, thank you, we just offer them an airport. Portuguese mindset. Yes. Yes, because I had the luck of visiting China, also Hong Kong and Macau, and I can confess that I stay so sad visiting Macau because there are almost no traces about the Portuguese presence there.
Really?
No traces. Yes. And Macau, we know that UK or Britain or England was there.
Of course. Yeah.
It's all over the parts. But in Macau, no, we just don't know.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yes. And it's a sad. It was so sad.
Isn't it the
So
gambling? Is the gambling capital? It's like the Las Vegas, isn't it, of China, Macau?
no, actually is bigger than Las Vegas.
Right. Okay.
Bigger.
All right.
Yes. Yes. It moves
Very
more money than Las Vegas.
All right, it might be then some people will send in some Portuguese remnants of the Portuguese imprint on China. That'll be interesting to see. So it's the direct flight between the two countries, departing from Lisbon, bound for Hangzhou, the capital of the province of Zhejiang, one of the most prosperous in China. There you go, with about 53 million inhabitants, located on the east coast of the Asian country. The flight only took place on Saturdays from next week. It will also take place on Wednesday. So you can say all sorts of things with statistics, can't you? It's doubled. The flights have doubled. There was one, and now there are two. There you go. Excellent stuff. Nuno, thank you so much for being here this morning, taking a quick look at the consumer news in the papers there and telling us about insurance. Before you go, though, I think other people have a few comments that include you. So let's do it. Peggy was saying that you still have to make reservations down in the Algarve. So the holiday season is not over in the Algarve at the moment. If you're thinking of visiting and you want a quiet time, perhaps wait until the early in the new year. But still, you can have a great time whatever time you go there. From João F to Nom de Plume, it's hot in here. Enjoying the renaming of everybody from Nom de Plume, I believe there. Oh, my bestie is coming tomorrow, and I hope the crowds would have thinned down here. I think they're going to be a little better than they were. It's not the peak season, but still people enjoying the Algarve, and that's no bad thing in my view. When I was still living there in Portugal, Rui Veloso, Pedro Abrunhosa, Os Delfins, Santos e Pecadores, Juntos e Pontapes, and GNR were wonderful singing groups and singers. And we should point out that the GNR, not the police force, they probably do have a choir, and they do have loud voices sometimes, but GNR are also a band here in Portugal. There you go. Drew's in from Australia as well. Bon dia, bon dia de Australia, meu amigo. Good morning to you, Drew. And Maxine, who's dog grooming. There's an inflation there from 20 to 30 euros, I believe. Might be time to find another dog groomer. 33% increase with 10% inflation looks like piracy to me. James is not standing for it, unless, of course, they were way undercharging to begin with. That does sound like quite a high, because your dog got bigger, maybe. As your dog increased 33%, that might be part of it. Oh, yeah, my wife loves Zay's seed as well. He's the guy who lives in Anadia, I think. I used to live near him, and he had a fantastic house in Anadia. Always singing Vamos viver a vida amor. It's a great tune with a great message. I've got to look that up. Always like a Portuguese song recommendation. Bon dia. We're here from Canada, scouting Portugal for 3 weeks and loving it. Says Luisa with the Portuguese name. Can we help at all? Luisa, I'm sure you're having a great time. If there's anything we can do to help you whilst you're here, you know where we are every morning. What's this? Rebel Mama. Comboio de Tofondao is 20 euros more than the other two. Crazy. 35 and 55. And that's one way. Why is it so expensive to get to Fundão? Is it because it is now the Silicon Valley of Portugal, where the super rich live, possibly? I don't know what's going on there. Some businesses take advantage of periods of inflation to actually increase profits by raising prices higher than the rate of inflation, perpetuating greater inflation. The rascals! Yes, some people don't let a crisis go to waste, do they? We've seen that over these last few years. I'm like Nuno. I don't follow politics, as Antonio. Very interesting. Portuguese people not following politics. You're sick and tired of it. If I was following politicians, I might run them over. No, sorry. I'm not condoning that sort of behavior. I meant to press this button. Yeah. He's not serious, by the way, everybody. He's not going to be running over any politicians. Remember where you heard that first. What's this? I remember writing in my father's fuel ledger for his Leyland P76. Fuel was 40 cents at the time, says Drew. Drew was a very young accounts clerk, by the sound of it. Very interesting childhood there. And look, João F also agree. Antonio F, João F, and Nuno M. People who keep saying that Portugal is a small country also keep forgetting how equally small Belgium and the Netherlands are as well. Yes, Portugal punching way above its weight for centuries now. Okay, maybe that'll end and you'll get your 50% discount. Okay, so we're trying to get a discount on the trains for Rebel Mama. So that might be a seasonal thing there. Fuel excise, says Drew to Andy. Has been repealed temporarily. It's 180. dollars, but soon we'll be back to 210. Is that Australian? I think you're talking in Australian dollars there, aren't you? And their size does not prevent them from doing great things to benefit our world. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that was like Portugal was better than Belgium or the Netherlands. Is that not what's being said? It's like all little countries can have a major impact on the world. Okay, maybe that's what was being said there. What's this? Mrs. B is around your age and is super handy information as well. We may have to do the overnight to Madrid from Covilla after her birthday. Well, I never. That sounds like a lovely trip as well, doesn't it? The sleeper to Madrid. Fantastic stuff. Thanks for the mention of that. Macau sounds like it'll be full of vigorously smoking people and smell of sweat and shame. Is that the new aftershave called Casino? It smells of sweat and shame and cigarette smoke. I don't even mention the microstates, which are sometimes better known than Portugal, just because we usually behave in a low profile mode. It's the modesty. I think we're talking about the modesty of Portugal there. Jess is with us as well this morning. Yes, corporate greed is a major cause of inflation. The corporations wouldn't do that to us, would they? They use inflation as an excuse to jack up all their prices and keep the price. I can't believe it. Politicians and corporations getting a little bit of a kick on their bottoms this morning. Groceries have gone up markedly this year. Maybe it's just me then. I stand by my just put 20 euros in your gas tank each time and it will never go up. Thank you. Yes, I'm Portuguese. I've been following your show and all the great information. Oh, cheers, Luisa. Great to make your acquaintance finally. My weight has even inflated. Okay, we'll go back to the God Squad tip of the day to try and help with that a little bit later on. Just because you take no interest in politics does not mean politics will not take an interest in you. Pericles, and also the doc says that, doesn't it? If you don't do politics, politics will do you. Maybe, but you could also take the view that it's going to do you anyway. Whether you do it or not, it's still going to do you. So you might as well just stay happy and out of that constant misery of looking at how those folks seem to be working together. I'm talking about the politicians and the corporations, of course. My own personal view and not necessarily those of any organization this morning. Nuno, thank you for stirring up the political tone this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.
We only thought we were talking about insurance as well this morning.
No, we talk about insurance also.
You can't not talk about these important things that affect all of our lives. Your final word to you then, my friend.
Thanks for having me. I return soon, I believe. So see you maybe next week.
I think we might see you next week, might we? Yeah. I think we'll see you then. We always look forward to seeing you, and you always get a nice warm reception here. And I think we will carry on where we left off, I suspect as well. Have a great day, my friend, and have a lovely day in lovely warm Lisbon this morning. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Nice round of applause. There he goes. There he goes. That's our dear friend Nuno Mendes of Winsurance there. Oh, I didn't give you the link so you can find out more about. If you're new to Nuno, a lot of people know and love Nuno, of course, as you could see. I'll put the direct link on the Expats Portugal site for you to be able to find Nuno there. And at his company, Winsurance. And if you just want to go straight there, it's winsurance.pt. Is the website address for that. And I think there's a contact form on there, as I recall, and somebody will actually talk to you. That's a wonderful thing about Nuno and Winsurance. An insurance company you can actually speak to. The legend, getting it's approbation, is that the right word? Certainly appreciation this morning. Ciao, ciao, Nuno, from James, who's a big fan of yours, Nuno. Superb. Okay, we'll be joined in the next few minutes by Luis Duarte from GIR. Great to see some new faces, new names, and see some old faces back here in the chat this morning. Here's another one. Bon dia from Castro Marin. Okay, well done, Dougie. Back in the country then. We need to get you on the phone at some point as well. Excellent. I have to get on with stuff. Yeah, whatevs. Have a great day, everyone. Okay, have a good day at work this morning. Lord Gilchrist, won't you? You've been busy, I'm sure, keeping the establishment going as part of it as Lord Gilchrist. Let's have a look at the Portugal Resident then. We took a look at the front page, the virtual front page of the Portugal news. And while we're waiting for Luis Duarte to join us of GAR, if you've got any shipping questions, which I know Belinda has, then stay tuned and Luis will answer those. Let me just make sure he has got what he needs to join us. I sent him a link, and yes, I believe he'll be joining us in a few minutes. No other word from him so far this morning, but it gives us a little bit of time to look at the Portugal Resident and the advert that they Let me just get rid of that for a minute. It's okay. I'm not embarrassed about my advertising at the moment anyway, but it's the Portuguese Chamber of Commerce. I've got a pop-up ad, and how annoying is that? Not you necessarily, Portuguese Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure you do some fantastic work, but pop-up ads. I'm sure I can get software for that. And before you Apple users start, you don't get pop-ups with Apple. Okay, I've got rid of it now, so you won't have to. You Apple users won't be appalled by proxy. Time to act to pull the brakes on rising violent crime. You might have seen one or two little, well, what would we call them? Outbreaks of violent crime. I think mainly in the capital. And they are few and far between, but they're quite shocking, aren't they? So they tend to draw our attention and stay in the mind. Responding to that, you will see that thousands, it looks like, of PSP officers are being drafted, enlisted into the service. And it says here, PSP drafting in 2,000 new recruits. Force admits summer was violent. Their own quote there. Oh, look, talking of how my advertising is not embarrassing, I've now got a load of women on my screen. And is that a dating app, I wonder? Oh, I'm glad to say I've also got Zoo Marine and a luxury eco house. Oh, and how much should I work for weight loss? Anyway, let's take my marketing life in my own hands here and try and read this article. Next month, 931 new PSP agents. That's one of the police forces. There are the traffic cops, aren't there? There are PSP and the GNR. So GNR agents, 931 of them, will be drafted into the police force, while another 1,000 are due to be enrolled over the next year. The influx cannot come soon enough. The reality of rising crime, particularly violent crime and incidents involving guns and knives, has become too strident to hide. Well, that's a quick response, isn't it? Tabloid Correio de Manhã says today, this was reported on the 19th by my favourite, Natasha Don, in the Portugal Resident, says it all in an editorial playing on the slogan, "Time to act." The words used by the government when it held the reins of the presidency of the Council of the European Union last year. Well, of course, it's time to act. It's urgent for, I mean, you're not going to say, well, it would be a terrible political slogan, isn't it? Now is not the time to act, or just let's wait a little bit, shall we? Which is what they tend to do anyway. But I mean, it's, the rhetoric's there, isn't it? The hype's there with time to act. It's urgent for the Minister of Interior Administration to stop the increase in violent criminality. The paper's Deputy Director, Paulo João Santos, writes, the number of situations reported by authorities, murders, assaults, robberies, kidnaps, aggressions, shootings, and knife attacks, sorry everybody for this deluge of darkness this morning, is alarming and transmits a real feeling of insecurity and impunity that has to be tackled. There is a commission studying this phenomenon, but concerns are that by the time its conclusions have been published, the report will already be out of date. It's time to act now, immediately. There is a snowball growing in front of our eyes that will rapidly become an avalanche if measures are not taken. It's very poetic, isn't it? Parliament cannot stay in the sidelines. Its composition is not very favourable towards major alterations of the penal code, but there is no doubt we need to change laws to protect citizens at the same. Well, good lobbying, isn't it? By the what's the press called? The fourth estate, are they? At the same time, we have to understand the origin of this dysfunctionality. Very good. I'm liking the cut of this writer's jib. It is not normal. It is true. Family values are being lost, and schools are no longer educating the way they used to. But shrugging one's shoulders and crossing one's arms is not the solution for anything. Today, like every other day in the last few weeks, if not months, the popular press is full of incidents of violent crime. Monday stories have one of an off-duty policeman shooting a civilian in the leg. Yikes. The reason the civilian was trying to stop police agents on duty from arresting his cousins. My goodness. Incidents where civilians turn on police have also become part of the new equation. So no wonder then they are recruiting extra police officers. What's this? A large part of these new recruits will be for the PSP's Metropolitan Command in Lisboa, where, according to official data, almost 49,000 crimes were registered in the first 7 months of the year. I don't know how that compares internationally. The Ministry of Interior Administration is already moving forwards with the program for housing the new agents, using the PRR funding, the bazooka coming from Brussels. Not literally, that is a funding mechanism, not a a weapon of war. The objective being to help agents at the start of their careers when salaries are traditionally low. Yes, and then you don't lose them, do you? The plan involves providing food for young agents through municipal canteens, creche spaces for their children, even assistance in joining gyms and sports. We do need to act, stresses Minister Zé Luís Cañero. We are trying to improve operational responses and the actions of the PSP and GNR. We are increasing investment and recruitment in the face of what he himself terms the greatest severity of crime, especially when it comes to the level of violence and easy access to the use of firearms and other weapons. So there you go. You may be aware of a rise in certain types of crime, and the government are responding. They're recruiting police officers, and the papers are giving them what for as well there, Correio de Manhã being one of them. Okay, what else is here in the Portugal resident? I think I should send a message to Luís, don't you? And make sure that he's okay. Got me moving to Portugal. Pop-up ad back. Thank you very much for that. That's their headline. That's why it's on the front page there. Government wants to believe Nigeria will supply promised gas. Which of these would you like me to look into? Gulp pours cold water on government's gas costs saving plan. Let me just send a quick message to Luís. Yes, doing this live. Production team are just having a quick cup of tea. So let me just make sure Luís is okay to join us. I think I did send him the link, did I not? Earlier on. I'm not sure. Maybe I did not send him the link. Let me do that now, live on air, everybody, just so that we can make sure we're talking to Luís this morning. Do you know, it's awful, isn't it, when you think you've sent an email and then you're waiting for a guest to arrive, and clearly you may have not have sent that email. So I'm doing that now. So this might be my bad, and we might not get to talk to Luís, but let me just send the link to him now as a little bit of a prompt and see what's happening there. So Gulp pours cold water on government's gas costs saving plan. The PM in New York, as eyes of world focus on Westminster Abbey. I think, yes, because you can see there from the other story, President Marcelo in London to attend the Queen's state funeral yesterday. And again, a reiteration of the other story we saw in the Portugal news, noise hotline launched by Lisbon City Council, 1 million doses of adapted COVID vaccines for Portugal. I did see as well that despite being one of the most highly vaccinated countries in Europe, it has one of the highest numbers of excess deaths. We'll talk to the doc about that again. His theory last time was because of the heat wave. Let's see what he has to say about that on his next visit joining us. Investigator calls for limits. My goodness, this is a Consumer Tuesday story, if ever I saw one. Investigator calls for limits on level of mercury present in fish that people should consume. Well, that's good. Lovely picture there of a Portuguese cooking and fish there, grilled fish. I saw that Raphael, not your average globetrotter, talking about singing the praises of how cool and good Portuguese cooking is, especially the grilled fish. You can see it right there on the screen. And an investigator is calling for the amount of mercury in these recipes to be limited. Let's have a look at this. Wasn't Marvin Gaye singing specifically about this in 1974 or whenever it was when What's Going On came out on vinyl? A study led by investigator Philippe Costa at the University of Coimbra has concluded that there is a universal lack of methodology in evaluating the level of mercury, a toxic heavy metal, in case you didn't know, which kids used to play with. You would break open a thermometer back in the day, wouldn't you, and play with that mercury. It was present in fish and shellfish that people can safely consume. Published in the Marine Pollution Bulletin, does what it says on the cover. The study recognizes that in very low concentrations, mercury does not represent danger for human health, but its accumulation long-term can have prejudicial effects. So that's a brief story there, but a good one, I think, so that to make sure that there isn't too much mercury in your dorada. What else is on that plate? Or your clams? Or anything else, unlikely in your potatoes, I suspect. Hopefully so. Anyway, okay, let's go back to the front page there. Do you know what? I feel really bad now because I thought I had sent my email with a link to Luís. So I'm struggling. I'm struggling with that, but we shall see. Let's carry on with we got dad jokes to do. We've also got a God Squad tip of the day. So let me just have another quick look at some of these that you might like to look at this morning with me. I think this one's interesting. The government wants to believe Nigeria will supply promised gas. Now, I'm wondering if the government might have been taken in by an email possibly here. We've got lots of gas. All you have to do is to deposit a lot of money in this particular bank account, and then we will send the gas. And the government still wants to believe that Nigeria will supply the promised gas. Is it a governmental level challenge, scam, where they've fallen for the promise of a lot of gas via an email, I wonder? What else have we got? PS losing steam. The PSD are closing gap. That's a September poll on Portuguese politics there. And temperatures, they say, will start to fall from Wednesday. Oh, and we are looking, of course, to the CEO. Sorry, I thought this was the health minister, but the CEO of the SNS Health Executive to be appointed by the end of the week. So, have we got a health minister yet, Japanese folks? And clearly, they're finding another CEO, a chief exec for the SNS system as well. So the health system in a little bit of chaos there. I wonder if any of our Portuguese correspondents here this morning have anything to say about that. Vamos! Algarve installs first automatic ticket kiosk. I wonder what for. Chair weaving workshops promote Algarve handicraft. So there you go. And Fado singing from the window. Some nice headlines there. We might come back to those in a little while. Let's dispense with them for the time being, though, and do some God Squad tip of the day action, as well as a few dad jokes. Hold on a minute, and a few comments here. Carl, with mercury in fish, does it mean we get a temperature analysis every time we eat? Yeah, you just look into the fish's eye, and I think, the amount of mercury in its eye might just expand to show you what the ambient temperature is. Carl, have you ever thought of a change of career? Apparently there is a large number of vacancies in senior positions in the Russian military. Thank you. I'm not sure quite how to take that, Pete. Yes, we've said hello to Dougie who's wishing us a bon dia from Castro Marin this morning. And welcome to this gang, Louis. So that's great. So thank you very much, Joao F, working the room. September Day, what beautiful September Day to be back in Portugal with the family this time. Pete is asking you, Dougie. And Antonio F, and apparently he may be informed of his students and numbers today, probably in lesson, the awful state of UK further education. Is that about Lord Gilchrist there? Okay. Administrative incompetence on a par with the Russian military. And now, and what else have we got here? Are you saying you want to de-promote Carl? Yes, into the Russian military there. Okay, not literally from James to Antonio F, but with enough accumulation, you might think you can. Very good. I like that. Okay, let's go back to the dad jokes then, whilst we're in that kind of mood this morning. But we'll start with a God Squad tip of the day. Thank you very much for all your comments here this morning. And scrolling. They see me scrolling. God Squad tip of the day then. I was digging in the garden yesterday, and I think he means that actually literally digging in the garden, not in some kind of street slang way. And it reminded me that you don't have to do specific exercises to improve fitness. Gardening, DIY, even hoovering all provide exercise. And on this note, I may have said this before, but I often think when this is part of our rationalization, isn't it, and compartmentalization of things in life. I guess if you talk to one of the elderly Portuguese folks that you see in central Portugal, bent double in a field, either planting or harvesting cabbage and other goodies from their garden, they're probably not thinking to themselves, I can't wait to get this harvest done so that I can go to the gym. Something happened, didn't it, where we compartmentalized things. And, in the same way that sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, sufficient unto the day was the exercise thereof, where daily life was enough exercise to keep you in good shape, and you didn't have to squeeze more things in, including a visit to the gym, just to stay fit, I would have thought. And also with mindfulness, it's the same thing, isn't it? People tend to want to study meditation and mindfulness and then go to a temple or on retreat to do it, when in fact, like, you could do mindfulness with all the things Ian's talking about here, the gardening, the DIY, especially DIY. You should be mindful when you're doing the DIY. Otherwise, you're going to put a drill through your finger. Same with cooking, isn't it? we've separated and rationalized and compartmentalized all these things, haven't we? When they could all be one holistic and blessed whole here. But point taken, Ian Turner, the daily round, the common task can, of course, be part of your fitness regime. Yes, why not be whole and holistic and bring it together? A few dad jokes then this morning. I know we're not going to see Luis this morning, are we? That's my bad. I'm so sorry for that. We will get Luis on at some point, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this morning. My bad, and my apologies with that. Dad jokes then. Oh no, not yet. Wait, hold on those. Hold the dad joke front page. We've got a deep thought of the day. And I think it's Lao Tzu again. Deep thought of the day. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. But Lao Tzu there, the old boy. He was, of course, as Thunderduck told us yesterday, Chinese philosopher and writer who no doubt would have taken advantage of those 2 extra new flights from China to Portugal. Would have been nice to meet the old fella. He is the reputed author of the Tao Te Ching and the founder of philosophical Taoism. Jeff, who I know was at the Porto meetup yesterday, sent me a message. Hey, Carl, just had our second Porto meetup, very successful. Jerry and wife attended along with 18 others. Fantastic. Not sure if Connie and Hank passed along the photos, but here are a few. Please, folks, give me permission, anyone who's in these photos. I think I've got one of food, which is important, but lovely venue they've got for themselves there. And I don't think there'll be any harm in sharing this food picky with you from the proceedings yesterday at the Porto meetup. Whilst I'm waiting for permission for the people who were in the photos to be featured, and also a visual memery from James as well this morning. Okay, those dad jokes then. Whilst we're waiting for there's the atmosphere from the Porto meetup yesterday. That's the kind of buzz. That's nice, isn't it? Oh, there's so and so. There's Hank waving and raising a glass of Superboc. That's brilliant. Let me know, Jeff, if it's okay with everyone, if you got their permission to show the picky. Geology rocks, but geography is where it's at. Yes. Iceland is only 1 sea away from Ireland on a geographical note. Very good. And blunt pencils are pointless, not unlike the old politicians, eh? Okay. Pete, was that a Russian comment? As in, if you don't like it here and you like it up so much over there, you should move over there. I wonder. Okay, let me just share with you then the lovely pickies from the meetup, at least the food anyway. Let's see what this person was eating at the Porto meetup. Certainly the company sounded good. The food looks good as well, does it not? Those are some big prawns there, shrimp, as I think you call them in the United States. And is that like a pork skewer there? And a few Coca-Colas being enjoyed, and a lovely big salad as well, salada mista there. Thank you for this bit of memery from you, James. Steal a man's wallet, and he will be poor for a week. Teach him music and how to buy instruments, and he will be poor his entire life. Oh, that reminds me, I was sent some original music yesterday, and I thought, I don't do a music show anymore. I won't be able to play that, but it's original music. I have the permission from the writer of the music and his co-writer, actually, a lovely gentleman called John Clark in Essex in the UK, who's been sending me music for probably 10 years now to play on various music shows I've done, and I can play it here. I don't think I can do it right now, but if you are a musician, or if you know of a musician who will give us permission to play their music, this sort of person who has been taught music and has bought instruments and may be poor for the rest of their entire life because they haven't been signed by a major label, and their music hasn't been signed up to a publishing company or a music company who are going to get me in trouble on YouTube, then let's play some original music, shall we? If you've got some original compositions, like Robert Yonker's music, Bob Yonker was with us a couple of weeks ago, I think it would be lovely to have a music feature on the show in the morning. So if you've got anything like that, I will play John Daddy-O Clark's tune that he sent me within this next coming week. But if you're a musician and you've created original compositions that aren't covered by a copyright that's going to get me into loads of trouble, share it with me, and I'd be glad to share it with the Gumper audience here on the Expats Portugal show. Last few comments then. I think we're going to wrap up this morning. in the absence of Luis joining us. Author quote of the day, though, we've got to go with this that Stephen took the trouble to send in to us. And it's author quote of the day: the standard personality type for a writer is a shy megalomaniac. It was John Lanchester who said that. And to go back to the electricity shortage or outage in South Africa, it's a state of things here, load shedding. Okay. What does that actually mean? Is that where you have to turn it off so that the electricity can dissipate? Is that what that's about? A poorly run system by the sound of it. Most recent comments then coming in, and do reiterate a comment. I think, James, I might have missed a cue this from you this morning. Do reiterate that for me, if you will. What's this? Please don't hoover. It's actually proven to be bad for you. Get a robot to do it, to do that bit for you. Window cleaning is good. Upper body and core, loads to do. Why is hoovering bad for you, Pete? Is it because of all the dust, possibly, for people with respiratory difficulties that gets whipped up? All okay for me and the wife to share. Ooh, what's that then? Oh, I see, the Porto meetup. Thank you for that. But there were, as you've heard, I think 18, 20 people there yesterday at the Porto meetup. So I think we'll be able to bring that to you tomorrow when we've made sure that that's okay to do so. Because I have had people having a little pop, and understandably, about not respecting their privacy. So I don't want to do that unnecessarily to anybody, or even necessarily for that matter. Ciao, ciao from Portimao. Have a great day, everyone. Cheers, Victoria. Thanks for being with us this morning. And good gumpers. Remember to fondle that like button. Peace out from Cindy B. Lots of love to you, Cindy B. And yes, that cue this that I was missing. I knew there was something. Quotes that have inspired the slug. Hang in there. The next breath might be better. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's down to the wire. Hang in there. The next breath might be better, from Vicky Abedeshko, founder of the Soul Shoppy. Very good. And hoovering is awful for your back. There you go. To take and load shedding is to take the strain off the system, or when something breaks, or that's how it's presented anyway. But of course, we live in the age of other theories, do we not? And of course, hoovering is also bad. Load shedding as well. Lots of reasons not to hoover this morning. Coach Turner then might get you sticking to gardening, which has also been proven to be bad for your back. But again, that's a mindfulness thing, isn't it? You know, I know any repetitive exercise which stresses a part of you is not going to be good for you. But there must be mindful ways of doing things. And certainly in Portugal, what's wrong with a broom and a dustpan and brush? Which actually, hoovering might be, is certainly not even going to be good or bad for me, because our hoover broke down a little while ago. It's been in the family for generations, an excellent hoover. But I've taken to sweeping, which does lend itself to, well, the cost of living crisis for one thing. But that's not the reason I'm doing it. But sweeping up, I think does lend itself much better to mindfulness and a meditative approach to housekeeping. And at any minute, Mrs. M is going to burst into the room and say, "You sweeping up? Get me a photograph next time that happens." Okay, then I think we'll play you, talking of music, and a little bit of music that might get me into a little bit of trouble. But I hope you're still on our deck here. I think it will be lovely to have that selection of musicians, some of which I think might have been mentioned before. But no, if I got rid of it, that's a disaster if I've got rid of it. Yes, it's gone. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to play that for you, but that has actually gone. And I've got a Portugal movie, PT movie. I wonder what that is, but that's going to fill the absence of Luis very nicely with its 7.5 minutes, which I'm going to play for you now. For those of you, if it's the one I'm thinking of, this is a real treat. If it's one I'm mistaken in playing, I apologize right now, and I'll see you tomorrow and ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. Sorry about the absence of Luis. Sorry to you, Luis, in case you didn't get the memo, which I suspect you didn't. And thank you very much to Nuno for being here this morning. And thank you all for your wonderful comments and for being here this morning, for bothering to be here this morning. Love you and see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.
A dieta mediterrânica é hoje considerada o mais saudável e sustentável padrão alimentar do mundo. baseada num estilo de vida de convivialidade e respeitador da biodiversidade e dos recursos naturais, reconhecida pela Unesco como Património Imaterial da Humanidade. Muito embora a dieta mediterrânica seja associada sobretudo ao sul do país, ela está ainda enraizada na cultura rural da região centro, nomeadamente no seu interior, dada a proximidade e influências do determinismo geográfico do sul. É disto testemunho a disseminação de uma das culturas mais emblemáticas da dieta mediterrânica, o olival, tão característica da paisagem desta região e que toma forma na qualidade única dos azeites aqui produzidos em olivais tradicionais e de montanha. Ao longo dos séculos, a movimentação dos diferentes povos do mundo e das suas culturas por toda a Península Ibérica, que através do comércio se fixaram nestes territórios de inigualável valor, deixaram uma marca indelével nesta cultura milenar que ainda hoje queremos e ousamos salvaguardar. Estas marcas estão bem presentes no território da região centro, que se estende ao longo do rio Mondego. Um rio fértil que é o berço de uma imensa biodiversidade e de riquezas naturais, suporte de inúmeras atividades ligadas a áreas tão diversas como a pesca, a gastronomia, a produção tradicional de sal ou o turismo. Também aqui se desenvolveu um dinâmico sistema agro-silvopastoril, alicerçado nos imensos recursos naturais disponíveis na região, nascendo nestas terras uma grande variedade de produtos hortofrutícolas. Os sentidos aguçam-se quando falamos do que aqui brota. A maçã Bravos-Molfe, que nasce nos pomares desta região, e a cereja do Fundão são exemplos emblemáticos e símbolos da qualidade e diversidade das frutas da região centro. Protegidas pelas serras do Caramulo, Montemuro, Bussaco e Estrela, as vinhas desta região têm características únicas, nascendo aqui alguns dos vinhos mais importantes do país.